Yeah, well, I think of kind of going from, I talk about all the time, going from hustler to operator, operator to architect. So like the hustler phase we all go through is you're not really sure what you're doing. You're moving forward, but there's no idea of why or concept of why. You're just doing things. And then I talk about becoming an operator, which is I kind of did at that time, which is you start trying to work through people rather than work through yourself. So instead of me underwriting, instead of me finalizing every deal, instead of me selling every deal, you start to learn how to work through people. So work through a sales team, work through an admin assistant, work through someone selling the deals. And that forces you to learn systems because you can't really work through people without learning how to manage people. And you can't learn how to manage people without the right systems to manage people. And you can't train people without having the SOPs and the systems to do so. And so I think the biggest leap for everyone is try to hire someone, even if it's a $5 an hour person, because it'll force you to learn a lot of those things that you won't have to set up if you don't.
Yeah.
And people are so scared of that, or they try to hire one person, but I've probably hired 300 salespeople. I've probably hired 3,000 cold callers. I mean, it just takes a long time to get good at the people side of business. But once you get good at people, that means you've got good at training, at systems, at management, at understanding the data and KPIs of your business. Like you have to get good at those things for people to want to work for you and to do well for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that really catapults you from a hustler to an operator. It's not, I'm going to go get a CRM and set up a drip campaign, or, I'm going to go listen to a bunch of podcasts. It's try to take that next step, which is working through people. And that'll force you to learn that you either will learn the things you're forced to learn, or you have to go back to being a hustler for a while, which is fine too. But that for me, every time I tell someone how to take that leap, it's usually learning how to work through other people.
Can you explain KPI for those who don't know?
Yeah. So KPI is just a point of data in your business where you can make a forward-facing decision on. And if you guys are watching this, don't go track everything in your business. And in a real estate company, an off-market company, it's usually how many leads you're getting, how much it costs you per lead that you get, how many conversations you have to convert someone, what you make per deal. That'll generally speaking give you enough data to understand what lever to pull in your business.
That's cool. Yeah,
most people, I mean, I've met guys that are doing $10 million a year that don't know anything about their business. So, and a lot of times they're not making money. And so the way you really make money, learn to work through people and learn the data of your business, what your business is telling you. And you'll be further along than most people that even run big companies.
Yeah, KPIs are one of those things. I've read them in a number of books. It took me a long time to get there, but when I started tracking my KPIs in my business, things started to improve, right? Like what measures improves, what you measure improves. And then I apply that to my own personal life as well now. So the one thing we do in the Better Life Tribe, which is the, accountability.
Feet size.
What? Yeah, feet size. Yeah.
12 or bigger.
Yeah, I track my feet size every morning to make sure they're not getting too big. We do a thing called we call it the ultimate life hack, right? What is the ultimate life hack? And hack is actually an acronym for habits, actions, constraints, so HAC, and then KPIs. So in other words, like what are the habits you should be doing? What are the habits? What are the actions you should be doing? What are the constraints you should be not doing? In other words, I'm not going to go on my phone after this time. I'm not going to, watch Netflix for 8 hours a day. And then KPIs is like, how do we track that stuff and how do we measure it? So whether that's date nights with my wife, whether it's time in the morning with the kids, whether it's making offers on a real estate deal, if I track them, which takes 2 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, just to go, oh yeah, I did that yesterday, or I didn't do that. Instantly, those areas of my life improve. And so I preach that every keynote that I give, I'm preaching that idea of like, just track your habits, your actions, and constraints.
Yeah.
Put some KPIs beyond it. I don't care if it's personal or business, and you will see growth happen.
Yeah. I think it's important though, like to know which KPIs to track.
100%.
Because I even in our business, I just figured this out literally last week where we've tracked like how much money each salesperson has made, but that is because of the houses they've bought, because of the houses that they've offered on, because of the houses they've walked and the leads they got. That's kind of how we had worked our KPI. So it was how many leads are you getting, how many houses you walk in, how many offers you're putting out, and how many houses are you buying. And this year, I don't do sales in our company, but if I get sent a lead, I'll buy it. And so this year, I personally, off of maybe an hour a month, have bought 18 houses and brought in 290,000 or so of profit for our company, of net profit off of those 18 houses. And I looked and I've only had 30 leads.
Wow.
But that's because I think we were tracking the wrong thing where I'm not out there hunting down leads. I'm hunting down really great connections and conversations and one-on-ones and Zoom meetings and just building relationships. And so like, I don't know what we're going to do in our company to change that, but I think that it's maybe not about the leads, at least in our company. It's not about the leads or the offers. It's about the relationships that we're building. So then how do we set KPIs around that will lead to maybe less leads, but more actual houses bought?
I think one of the things people watching this, I think like, there's so much overwhelming information. A lot of times they go, okay, well, what do I focus on? That's all great. KPIs are great. What do I focus on? And there's a framework that I heard one time at an event that I really like, which is LCO, leads, conversions, operations. And there's only one, you can really only have 3 types of constraints in a business: you have a lead flow problem, a conversion problem, or an operations problem. And the way for people to find out where they're stuck is you start from top to bottom. If you had double the leads you have right now, why wouldn't that work? And for most people, they go, well, I don't know how to get those leads. That's your constraint. If you could double your leads right now, like you could probably spend the money to double the leads in your business. Let's say, for example, why wouldn't that work? Well, I don't have enough salespeople. I haven't trained them well enough. I don't have the data in my business. I don't really know what's going on under the hood of our sales process. We're not walking houses the right way. And it'll show you the 90 things that are hard that you actually should fix in your business. And that's all I do with my team, myself, every single week is when I get on our weekly level 10, we're just like, hey guys, let's go back to basics. Where's our constraint? Let's all ruthlessly focus on one constraint. And that equation, that waterfall always gets us there. If we need more leads, how do we get them? If we can't increase our lead flow, why not? Do we have a leaky bucket? Are clients churning? Why are they churning? And it always shows us. So if you guys are watching this, most people have a lead flow problem. Like if you're getting 3 leads a month, you don't have a problem of watching more podcasts and buying new CRMs. You have a lead flow problem. But if you don't have a lead flow problem, that exercise will teach you what you need to solve most of the time.